Hey there, Hofstra fans. Welcome to this week's edition of the W.B. Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. My name is Mike Sullivan. Pleased to be joined by head coach of the Hofstra Pride Field Hockey Team, Kathy Angelis. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
This past weekend, you take one against Yale 1-0 on Saturday. You return home Sunday, fall to Rider 2-0. What were your overall impressions of this past weekend?
Well, I thought we had a great weekend. A little disappointed, obviously, in not getting the win on Sunday. But with Yale, it was just a tremendous game. And we ran out of steam for Sunday, and there's nothing to hide with that. We gave everything we had on Saturday. We knew it was going to be a challenge, a back-to-back game. It was our first back-to-back game of the year. And we faced a little challenge on Sunday, trying to recover.
Starting with the Yale game, I know the Bulldogs, a team you've had some trouble with over the past few seasons, but you finally get that win, 1-0, a real defensive game. What did you see from your team?
Well, we had a great game plan, and the focus and practice all week for preparation for the game was fantastic. And we came in with the game plan, and we finished with it. So I think our execution all over the field and what our preparation was great, and it gave us the win. So it was real exciting.
Defensively, your team continues to play well. You get a shutout there against the Bulldogs. How did they play, and how did they handle the Yale offense?
They were superb this past weekend, and Yale is an extremely strong team. We contained them very, very well. They put a lot of pressure on, especially in the second half. Toward the end of the game, and we had corner after corner called against us, but we really played with great composure in the backfield, great confidence, and we need to continue to keep that type of play in the rest of the matches.
You bring up those penalty corners. How excited were you as a coach to stand on the sideline and see your unit continuously defend those well and prevent Yale from getting on the board?
Well, I was excited. It was a little bit tough to be on the sideline, of course, when there's no time on the clock and we're getting a few more corners called against us, but it was just such a great feeling. I personally was so confident in our defensive corner unit, and the whole team was. And when you have that type of confidence, you know that we're going to come out on top, and we did.
Your offense, you score within the first 5 minutes of the game, and then afterwards, a little bit of defensive struggle. Was that more of how the Yale defense was playing, or do you think your offense maybe left some more opportunities on the field?
Well, we had a great break, and we took advantage of that. And Janelle picked up the ball probably just a little before the attacking third, and she was able to break through with some speed and get a fantastic shot off that connected. So I think we were able to capitalize on that. The match itself wasn't like a tennis game. It was back and forth, and I thought we did a great job to sustain our transition game and to keep Yale from getting on the boards.
After the Yale game, you return home immediately the next day. You play Rider on Sunday. How do you think that back-to-back affected your team's play Sunday afternoon against the Bronx?
Well, number one, our challenge, like I said, was really the recovery. And this is the first time we've had to be put in this position. We face a lot when we're putting our schedule together, and we knew that it was going to be a challenge playing back-to-back, but it's something we need to prepare for. In the CA tournament, depending on your seed, you could go straight through without a day off. So that's something we can use this as an experience. I think probably what was most disappointing in the Rider game was our mental fatigue, and I do think we could have worked a little bit harder mentally to make the ball do the work, and I think we didn't make that adjustment enough in the game, and we had quite a few turnovers. And that's something we need to pick up in our game, is the mental part of the game, and make the ball do the work, especially when we're fatigued.
Offensively, you score 1 goal in both games from the past weekend, and Janelle Boileau and Michaela Gallagher continue to carry that unit in the forward and the midfield as well. What more are you looking for maybe the players that surround Boileau and Gallagher on the field?
Well, what is important, and since the beginning of the season, we have had different players, a lot of different players scoring, and we have to continue to somehow make that happen. Mick and Janelle statistically are putting up a tremendous amount of shots, and that's great. But we don't want the players around them to get complacent and continue to just lean on those two players, because those are our scoring threats, and the players have put a lot of shots on statistically on every game. But we need the other players to pick up their game around them and be a little more offensive and put more of a threat. And I think if we can do that, we'll get back to where we were a few weeks ago.
And I know something you've been really focusing on to try and improve is that transition game. How do you feel like that played out this past week, and do you think you can improve that more?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's something that's going to be day to day. We're still developing, and it's important that we recognize the different types, the different way we play from Saturday to Sunday, and how we countered the transition with Yale. And Yale was such a strong team to counterattack, and we did it with such composure, and we were so confident with the Yale game, and that was something where I think because of the fatigue, we weren't able to come with a lot of confidence, or enough confidence to really help be a little bit stronger in our transition game with Ryder. But we have to learn from this, and this is what we take from a loss, and hopefully that we use that experience and put it into the next match.
Now, looking ahead to this upcoming week, a couple of games. First, you travel to Manhattan to take on Columbia, then you return home, and UC Davis will travel here to Hofstra Field Hockey Stadium. What are you expecting from those two teams?
Well, both of them are really, really strong opponents. Every year we have a great game with Columbia, and we've been able to get a couple of wins with them the last couple of years. They're having a real solid year right now. The most important thing is for us to focus on our game, Hofstra's game, and not really what Columbia has. And we haven't played UC Davis. This is a new program that began 3 or 4 years ago. We haven't faced them. We do have a little bit of film on them. But again, the most important thing is to focus on Hofstra and what we can do to get better every day and get more experience and get more confident. And the wins and losses will take care of itself.
You talk about Hofstra's game. What exactly is that, and what are you looking for in practice this week and the next couple of weeks, to really improve on before you get really into the meat of your CAA schedule?
Well, our team this year is extremely fundamentally sound. We are a great passing team. We move the ball. When we move the ball at our top game, it's very, very good. It's deceptive, it's fast, and we are extremely dangerous. And we have to continue to work on what's working for us, and not try to go change anything because something happened with a Ryder game. We still have to continue to work on what's going to really make us the strongest team we can be before we hit the CAA. And again, that's focusing on our passing game and our fundamentals.
Finally, Coach, one last question. You're now 4-2 through 6 games this season. What are you looking for to maybe establish some consistency with these 2 games coming up this week, some future games to go down a roll here as you head further into the season?
Well, importantly, we know we can win now. We know that we can score, and we know that we can play very strong defense, and we have a great backfield that's really playing with great confidence right now. We have to continue to use what's working for us, but also know that there's a lot more to learn, and there's much more potential with this group, and it's still very young in the season, and I guess it's my job, the staff job, to keep telling our players that we've got loads of potential, and we've got so much room to grow, and that's how we can keep the players motivated and keep them inspired. And if we do that, I know we're gonna get to a higher level before our first CAA match.
And that'll do it for this week's edition of the WB Mason Coaches Report with head coach of the Hofstra Field Hockey Team, Kathy Angelis. Make sure to tune in next week.